you know, some people say that a state of emergency, you know, I mean, it's obvious, it's a fact. The state of emergency has been declared in Yobe, Adamawa, and Borno State. These are the states, you know, that are also under your party. Most people believe that politicians should actually just leave their offices and let the security agencies take over. Do you think that your party will be willing to make the sacrifice, you know, to finally let peace return to Borno State and Adamawa and Yobe State? Do you think your party can do that? This is not a matter of whether or not you won the mandate. Is it something that you'll be willing to do if you have to?
Do what? Do what?
To make the sacrifice, to leave office. Because some people say that, you know, politics and security, especially when an emergency has been declared, don't quite go together.
Now, let me ask you something. Let me ask you pointedly. What do you think should be happening in a state that is under emergency rule that is not happening in Yobe, in Borno, and Adamawa states? What are the things that are happening now that you think should not be happening? Right now, if anybody wants to make a phone call in any of these states, will have to go to neighboring states to make the phone call. That's the truth.
Not completely.
Well, to a large extent, that's part of the thing that I've been. What we are talking about is that there is a holistic, you know, the entire gamut of, you know, security, you know, management must be brought into place. You know, chief among this is the question of intelligence gathering. If you are not able to, if you are hampered in one way or the other in gathering intelligence, that is, you just be working in the blind. That is why, you know, the Borno governor asked pointedly that, look, why is it that we are not able to decode each time, to decipher, to preempt these people each time they want to strike? Why is it? It means there is a problem with our intelligence gathering. So that is an area that must be, you know.
Mr. Fashakin,
yes.
Some people, you know, I'm not the analyst here, but from what we've seen and read, there is an initial reluctance, it would seem, to declare a total state of emergency in Borno State. What we had was a lot of local governments, you know, we had pockets of state of emergencies in some local governments before eventually, sometime last year, a state of emergency was declared in Borno, Adamawa, and Yobe State, and it was a total, you know, state of emergency declared. In fact, in Adamawa State, they still complain that they do not see the essence, even though we've seen, you know, pockets of attack along the border between Borno and Adamawa State. We're just wondering, you know, what role politics has to play in all of this. And we're just wondering if it's possible for us to divest politics from, you know, what is happening on ground. If ultimately we're being told that politicians will need to hands off completely and let the military take over, do you think that is a sacrifice that your party will be willing to make?
Truly, there is basically no sacrifice that is too much to ensure that Nigerians everywhere can sleep with two eyes closed. There is basically no sacrifice. But what we're saying clearly, and as we see in some of the discussion, I mean, the president just had a media chat. You see, away from the rhetoric of each time there is an attack, to just say, let's assure everybody and the international community that the government is in charge. That's all rhetoric. The facts on ground do not show that indeed this government is in charge. That's the truth. Let's not run away from it.
Because from your posturing, right now what we saw was the Borno State government going to, you know, the presidency to possibly give him an account of what is happening in his state. What should be happening right now is cooperation between the Borno State governor and the presidency, it would seem, because he is commander-in-chief and there's a state of emergency there. But from the posturing of your party, it would seem that it's going to make it extremely difficult to get beyond the politics of it, when at the end of the day, what you're asking the president to do is resign.
Listen to me, Mope. Look, I just told you atypical scenario. I mean, the governor realizing, understanding that the chief security officer of the Nigerian state is Mr. President, and understanding that the commander-in-chief of the Nigerian Armed Forces is Mr. President. And so he sits atop the entire security apparatus in the Nigerian state. And he knew that he needed to confer with Mr. President about the dire situation, in his state, the dire security situation in his state. And he came and he told it all. He bared his mind, and he was vilified for it.
Have you?
That is not the way to ensure cooperation. Cooperation is about talking with candor. Allow me to talk with candor.
Have you then exhausted all avenues of cooperation? Because if on one hand, I mean, you have claimed a wrong here by the presidential spokesperson, is your own response any better in terms of eliciting the same cooperation that you need to calm the crisis in that state?
Look. What I have said now,
yes,
about the president resigning is a culmination of over 3 years of consistent inaction, consistent non-performance as regards, as it were, it seems to me that the president has lost the initiative.
So what would your party do differently?
Yes. General Muhammadu Buhari has said consistently that, look, security shall be his priority. If anybody can. Now, what he's saying that what we would do differently would be to place the security apparatus, the security, to place in proper situate the situation in such a way that we will be able to attack the problem from intelligence gathering, good intelligence gathering, so that when our security forces make that preemptive strike, it will be it will be spot on. That's the truth.
But do you know the quality of intelligence gathering that we have at the moment? So on what basis are you saying good intelligence gathering?
What is good? The thing is that, look, when we say, we all know when we see good intelligence. Look, before the SEAL number 6 were able to get this, the members of that SEAL number 6 were able to get Osama bin Laden, and bring him to justice. You will understand that good intelligence, that they were able to pinpoint the exact place where the man was residing. You will understand clearly that a lot of rigorous intelligence gathering would have gone into it. So when we see one, we know it. So we don't need to.
But even though my answer and my question hasn't been answered, but I'm still trying to go into the operation of the special force that you just mentioned that took out Osama bin Laden. But if you look at the atmosphere in the United States, it's not the same in Nigeria, politically speaking now, because when it's about security, we see concerted efforts from every party, irrespective of your leaning. So whether you're a Democrat or you're a Republican, the Tea Party, they're all on the same page when it comes to security issue. Has your party been working with this particular government genuinely in trying to fix this challenge that is upon us?
Thank you very much, Suleiman. That's a very pointed question. Good question. Excellent question. Indeed, before APC came into being, I was in CPC, and I knew the amount of efforts that we tried to put in to ensure that we cooperated with the federal government. But at the point that we saw that this regime is only interested in playing politics with our security, you recall, there was a time that you know, we got good information that it was this regime that was scheming that just to be able to vilify General Muhammadu Buhari and saying that he should come and negotiate between the federal government and Boko Haram. We knew that it was this government that was instigating that, and of course General Buhari said, you federal government going into Borno area, that is when there is a bomb blast around some areas, you go into house, kill all the youths there. I cannot negotiate on your behalf. That are you Boko Haram, and you Boko Haram, you know, that kill heartless, I mean, without any remorse, and that I cannot negotiate for you. So the two of you go and resolve your problem. At the time we saw this government, you know, rather playing more of politics with the security of our lives and property, you know, we left them.
Can you substantiate that when you say they go out, pull out people and kill them?
That is it. Look, that was part of the problem. I mean, why would the Borno elders, you know, at that time, you know, threaten the former chief of a family staff with prosecution with ICC? That was exactly why they threatened him.
It's amazing because the comments coming through from Twitter, they say you just haven't answered most of the questions.
What are the questions?
For instance, now, Izo wants to know, what is the Borno State Governor, Adamawa State Governor, and Yobe State Governor doing with their security votes?
Doing with their security vote. The truth of the matter is that the security vote, there are a lot more things that will go into the security vote. How much is the security vote compared to? I mean, how much is the security vote compared with what Mr. President has, you know, to